Erika, Regine, Pinocchio, Kirk, fancy seeing you here. Long time no lie. However, we do have a few questions regarding this Make Heaven Crowded tour. So come on up to the front of the class, why don't you? What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of In Cahoots Podcast. My name is Nikki. Before we jump into the video, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, let me know what you're thinking, turn on your post notifications so that you know every single time there is a video, and of course, share it with all of your friends and other creators too. If you do want to donate to the channel, every little bit helps. Our Cash App and Venmo is right there on that screen. You can also hit the thanks button down below to tip directly. And you can join to become a member. And you can also support us on our social medias, which is going to be TikTok, X, and Instagram. Now, on a recent episode of the Candace show, she didn't have her bun in, but she was a little bit testy. I'm going to let you guys watch that clip first, and then we're going to get into it.
That is being administered to the masses over what happened to Charlie Kirk. Nothing makes sense. You can't even debate what evidence we have regarding what happened to Charlie Kirk today. You have nothing. I know you have nothing because Erika has nothing. I sat down with her. Okay. I actually sat down with her and was like, oh, maybe they do have more evidence. They don't. So you're all a bunch of frauds. You're all a bunch of frauds, and you dishonor Charlie Kirk every day while you pretend that you're honoring him by putting a bubble around his widow, who is not acting like a widow at all. Okay. What is she supposed to do? Like, oh, cry every, yeah, actually. Yeah, I do. You know what? I would be okay with somebody who cried every day for a bit after their husband died. Like, what kind of a question is that? Why are you gaslighting us like it's weird that we expect a widow to meaningfully want to stay home and crawl up and cry every day after they lose their husband? Like, again, it's like, where are the humans? They're like, well, what do you want her to do? Cry because her husband died? Sorry, I don't even have my hair in a bun today. I was like, I just got fired up about that. I'm sorry. It does annoy me every time I just think about it in the context of just the amount of gaslighting that's happening, the obvious, oh, everyone go, 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 go. Yay, somebody got something wrong. It wasn't Candace. They literally were making videos wrapping me into what somebody else published. That had nothing to do with me. They don't want to respond to what I'm saying. They just want to keep saying it's immoral. Okay. I'll keep ignoring somebody who's got like 13 adjacent sex trafficking scandals. Oh, no, it's fine that Erika's working with Harvest Church, and they're currently being sued for trafficking children from Romania. That's fine. Look the other way. Everybody grieves differently.
Ooh, angry Candace. Okay, so on that note, as far as Erika, Regine, Pinocchio, Kirk working with Harvest Church, I mean, that should raise red flags, right? For those that do not know, Erika, Regine, Pinocchio, Kirk, she is doing the Make Heaven Crowded tour. A lot of us know that. If you don't, that's what's going on with her right now. Okay, now here's the problem. She's partnered with Laurie. Now, Laurie is the founder and the senior pastor at Harvest Church. Okay, there's also a former pastor by the name of Paul Hvasgaard. I'm going to just kind of give you a rundown, if you will, of what exactly is going on. Okay. Now, the allegations, basically the lawsuits allege that former pastor and missionary Paul Hvasgaard sexually abused and trafficked Romanian street children in Harvest homes between 1998 and 2008. This whole thing with Erika, Regine, Pinocchio, Kirk and her Romanian ties with child trafficking and whatnot. I mean, wouldn't you want to steer as far away from that narrative as humanly possible if you know that the entire internet is saying that you have ties to that allegedly? But no, not Erika, Regine, Pinocchio, Kirk. No. She wants to work even closer with people who are having this, who have the same exact allegations being placed on them. Now, Harvest Homes in Romania, they're partially sponsored by Harvest Church. The senior pastor and founder of this church sent Paul Hvasgaard over to find children that are on the street and need guidance, find them and put them in those homes. The way that he would find them, allegedly, is that he would lure these kids in with McDonald's meals, talk to them and tell them, hey, well, you don't have anywhere to go. I have somewhere for you to go that's safe. You'll get a meal and you'll be taken care of. But unfortunately, that was not the case. These children were allegedly taken advantage of and abused in sadistic ways. Some children reported that they were tied to beds, made to kneel in walnut shells for hours at a time, allegedly. I mean, that doesn't sound very safe now, does it? That doesn't sound like you're taking care of these children now, does it? Now, these complaints also allege that Pastor Greg Laurie knew all about it, but he chose to do nothing about it. He chose to cover this up for years and years. Take a look at this article. I'm going to read what I have highlighted here. According to the complaints, church leaders in California failed basic tasks of supervision, yet profited from the money they raised through charitable appeals and the false impression that they were doing good works. The complaints allege that Hvasgaard may be one of the most prolific child sex predators alive in the United States today, responsible for thousands of individual acts of abuse. The complaints relate that Hvasgaard R-worded his own sisters when he was a teenager and SA'd his foster daughter while a Harvest pastor. Despite repeated warnings and evidence of abuse, Laurie and his former mission pastor, Richard Schutt, kept Hvasgaard in place in Romania with minimum oversight. Harvest deposited some $17,000 each month in Hvasgaard's personal bank account and did not require detailed accounts as he siphoned off funds to pay for gifts for his sexual favorites. In turn, Hvasgaard returned to California frequently to raise money for Harvest and burnish its reputation, often with children in tow whom he SA'd in California too. So he actually would bring these kids with him to California sometimes. The complaints allege that finally in 2004, other American ministries were significantly concerned by what they were hearing about Hvasgaard, that they intervened with Harvest and caused Schutt, Laurie's lieutenant in charge of foreign missions, to send an inspection team. When Schutt joined his inspectors in Bucharest, they told him that Hvasgaard was a PDF file, and that Hvasgaard needs to be on that plane with you when you leave tomorrow. He doesn't need to be in Romania another day. He is an embarrassment to every single missionary and Christian worker. But Laurie, Schutt, and Harvest did nothing to protect children. The complaints allege. But Harvest cut down his subsidy of the homes, but left Hvasgaard in place to continue R-wording and recruiting more victims for another 4 years until he returned to California in 2008. Meanwhile, the complaints alleged Harvest gave the cruel and violent PDF file some $200,000 in severance payments. The children were thrown back onto the street, traumatized, with no support and no place to go. The year after Hvasgaard returned to California, despite knowing what he had done in Romania, Laurie publicly praised him as a pastor. Laurie said, quote, "A pastor who faithfully served the Lord for many years at Harvest Christian Fellowship, the church where I pastor," unquote, and compared his work in Romania to that of Moses and the Israelites because, quote, "life demonstrates the power that just one godly person can have," unquote. Life at the Harvest homes was like a torture chamber inside a prison, says one of the plaintiffs, Marion Barbu, in his complaint, which details how Hvasgaard would show up regularly in the bathroom while boys were showering or undressed and stare at them, sometimes pleasuring himself in their presence. Oh my goodness. He regularly spanked children in public. I can't say this on YouTube. If you can read that, you can read that for yourself. That sentence I cannot say on this channel. One boy regularly defecated in shoeboxes in an attic room known to be Hvasgaard's private playground, where video cameras had been set up. After being R-worded, Hvasgaard is also reported in the claim to have pimped out older boys for inappropriate work via video chat or at bathhouses, taking a cut of their earnings. And mind you, the pastor, the founder, the senior pastor chose to look the other way, deny it, and say that he was too valuable to let go because of the money that he brings in. It always comes back to money. Now we have Erika Pinocchio Kirk. Now, she is partnering with Laurie for her Make Heaven Crowded tour. My issue is that, oh, wow, okay, so you both have these ties to Romania. You both have these ties to Romania regarding trafficking. Not one time, Erika Pinocchio Kirk, will you come out and say, you know what, I never did this in Romania. Or, you know what, Pastor Laurie, I respect you and everything, but let's hold off on this partnership until after the trial. Nothing. My thing is she may feel like she knows him personally. She's very close to him. He's a man of God. She may be saying all of that in her head. But at what point are you going to protect the children? Oh, you're not. Because allegedly you didn't either, right, Erika Pinocchio Kirk? This is all so disgusting on so many different levels. It seems like after Charlie passed, it's just like, okay, I am in charge now. Let me bring back all my old homies from before so that we can finish the mission that we started. I know that sounds terrible, but that's just what it's starting to feel like. The University of Arkansas pulled out of the Club America movement because they did not like, and it did not sit well with them, how Erika and Turning Point portrayed Charlie after his passing, always saying what Charlie would say is, or what Charlie would do is. And here's the thing, Charlie Kirk is no longer here. But if you're going to say that you are going to keep his legacy going and keep his movement going, what the hell is Turning Point 2.0? At this point, it really feels like Turning Point 2.0 is just Romania Trafficking 2.0. Let's get back to business, allegedly. But let's get a little bit more into this tour, shall we, Erika Pinocchio Kirk? I'm just going to read this here. These are her comments, regarding this tour, right? Make Heaven Crowded. In her comments at the tour launch, Kirk compared the political movement of Turning Point USA to an evangelistic movement that will get more people to heaven. Erika, what are you even saying here? Like, what is this? Traffickers unite? And let's put it all in the name of God? Allegedly? In certain media appearances, Erika Kirk, she has said that responding to every judgment or every insult or allegation would basically get in the way of what she needs to get done. I get that to a certain extent, but not when it comes to something so sensitive as children. I don't know what the obsession is with these crazy people and kids. I don't want to know. I want you guys to leave the kids alone. Leave the children alone. Now, we all know that Erika Pinocchio Kirk is probably never going to speak on the allegations or answer any questions regarding her time in Romania. But if you ask me, that's probably the number one thing that she should address. Now, see, Erika Pinocchio Kirk, she will address silly things. Well, I should say she'll make them silly, right? We got the Egyptian planes. Oh, I was not on a plane. I was eating my In-N-Out burger or Fort Huachuca. I wasn't in a fort. She makes them silly, and she's doing it on purpose. It feels like she's doing this on purpose. If anything, speak up about what really matters. Okay, you don't want to talk about planes following you. Okay, you don't want to talk about why you were at Fort Huachuca with a whole nother man on September 8th in a hotel lobby. If you are an OG and you've been hanging with the channel for a while now, you already know what I think was going on at Fort Huachuca in that hotel lobby. Neither here nor there. But at least speak out about something so serious as the fact that you were kicked out of Romania. You were involved in trafficking in Romania. Why not speak about that? You could just do a one and done. That is not what happened. I had nothing to do with that. I would never end. The end. But no. Erika Pinocchio Kirk says that, oh, I would never get anything done if I respond to these judgments or these insults. But then this is the same Erika Pinocchio Kirk that chooses a pastor of a church that's going through the exact same allegations that she was. Trafficking in Romania between 98 and 2008. Luring kids in with McDonald's. Vulnerable kids. Making them trust you just to abuse them. Same Erika Pinocchio Kirk that's dealing with a pastor that chose to look the other way knowing that children were getting hurt and basically said, well, we're not going to get rid of Paul. We can't get rid of Paul. Paul brings in the funds. He brings in all the money for the church. That's disgusting. It really feels like Erika Pinocchio Kirk and friends are using church, using God, using the Bible just for their own personal, disgusting gain. I say all this to say this. This is a disgusting, sick, twisted world that we live in. We don't know if any of these claims are true, but if they are, seriously, shame on you. Erika Pinocchio Kirk, you put a lot of focus on kids, students, college students. But how do you expect anybody to trust you, especially with their kids, if you are more than willing to do an entire tour, this whole Make Heaven Crowded tour? How can they trust you if you're partnering with Harvest Church? But hey, it's all good as long as the money is right. Right, Erika? Because really, it just seems like that is all that you care about. And it's a shame. Guys, in the comments, I want you to tell me what you guys think. Because just like I said a few videos ago, Erika Kirk is saying that she's doing all of this to honor Charlie. And these words came out of Erika's mouth herself. She said, now before Charlie passed away, she said he told her home needs you. Meaning her mom needed her, the kids needed her, home needs you. But you're doing everything but that. So in the comments, let me know what you're thinking. Do you think it's right that she partners with Harvest or Laurie? Does it make sense to you guys? I mean, other than the fact that she's just out for the money? Putting kids at risk and in jeopardy for money? I think throughout this entire video, the one thing, well, it's not the one thing, but one of the things that bothered me the most is reading that the pastor of Harvest said that he did not want to let go of Hvasgaard because he's the one that brings the funds in. He is their moneymaker. All of this is allegedly, of course. The case is still ongoing. But at some point, we have to start truly protecting the kids because this is not it. It's not. But I'm going to end this video right here. So listen, if you guys like the video, please smash that like button, subscribe, comment, let me know what you're thinking, share the video, share it with other creators, share it with your friends. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you know every single time there's a new video. You can always support the channel by hitting that Cash App and that Venmo right there on your screen. Also, you can go ahead and hit the thanks button down below. Throw supers in the comments. Every little thing helps. It all goes to improving this channel. And you can also support by following my social medias, X, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, my name is Nikki. This has been In Cahoots Podcast. Bye.